Chapter 8. The Immortality of the Soul. What are dreams? The preeminence of man over the animal kingdom is due to his superior quality of mind, this being the highest and most perfect part of man. Through the mind, intelligence is expressed. It is a fact that intelligence has always existed, and we know of no reason why it should not continue to exist. The law of mentalism has demonstrated conclusively that messages have been and can be received from those who have departed from the body, thereby proving that some part of man continues to exist after the destruction of the body. This indestructible part has been called the soul. It is only natural that all who have studied this subject should conclude that the part which lives after the destruction of the body must be the highest faculty possessed by man, which is the mind. Whatever it is that retains life, it would be of no further use unless guided by intelligence. As the mind is the organ of intelligence, it would be impossible for intelligence to be utilized or expressed except through the mind. If the mind were a physical organ, it would have died with the body. This proves conclusively that the mind, like intelligence, never dies. As it is the mind that lives, then mind and soul must be one and the same. If this is remembered, it will be easy to comprehend that the soul only uses the body as a place of resistance in which to work out its grand purpose. A new soul is not created, as some people supposed, by either man or God every time a child is born, but instead a fraction of the great soul, God, or source of intelligence, is attracted to the new body as a place of residence where it dwells until the house becomes inhabitable, and then it returns to the source from which it came, there to retain until another suitable habitation is prepared for it. The soul is attracted to the body through the law of mentalism. The parents, by their thoughts, create the characteristics of their child, and at the same time attract to it a soul that is in harmony with those characteristics and the physical house the parents are building. If the thoughts for the prospective child are loving, noble, and ambitious, they will reach out to all parts of creation, if necessary, and attract to the new body a soul in harmony with it. If the thoughts for the child are cruel, selfish, gross, or indifferent, that mentalism will attract a soul or mind that is in harmony, for like attracts like. Man has been instructed with the power to create the body or house which the soul or mind shall reside, and is also, through the power of mentalism, permitted to select the nature of the soul which shall occupy the house he builds. But he cannot create or destroy the soul, for it, like intelligence, has always existed and always will exist. Man is the architect and builder, and if he builds a house with poor materials and neglects to supply the conveniences and improvements, he will not attract a very desirable tenant. Those possessing an ambition for improvement and advancement will not be attracted to it. On the other hand, should he design carefully a structure of artistic and scientific proportions, use the best materials and build it well, having a purpose in view, and finish it with all the latest improvements that art and science can suggest, he would have produced a structure that would attract a soul having taste in perfect harmony with the building and surroundings. The tenant would be one who would appreciate the advantages and make use of opportunities that the habitation afforded. From the time the soul takes possession of the body, it is assisted by the thoughts of others and will keep the body in repair, add additional improvements, or allow it to go to destruction as the case may be. This will depend upon the character of the soul that inhabits the body and the intelligence with which it is associated. The law of mentalism teaches us to what extent we are responsible for the lives of our children. Every person should consider this subject well before becoming the cause of sin or sorrow to future generations. Think right and you will live right. Think right and your children will be guided by noble genius souls and will thus reflect as in a mirror your noble principles and thoughts. Think wrong and you will live wrong. Think wrong and you will see your children the evidence of your own souls. They will be as judges standing before you to consistently accuse you. Your own thoughts will thus make for you either heaven or hell. What are dreams? Dreams are the common experience of everyone. but who has ever been able to satisfy himself as to their cause, why they come, and from what source? The pictures that pass before our inner vision during the hours of sleep have called forth much comment and some scientific investigation, but as very few people have been able to agree upon the possible cause of the phenomena, the public in general has received very little light on the subject. Each person, however, has had some dreams in which he believed and a greater many in which he placed no confidence. Almost everyone can relate some instance in which he knows that certain things which were first shown to him in a dream afterward actually occurred. Any mother whose children are away from her knows that in her dreams she is always warned if they are sick or in trouble. If she receives a message of this character, they must come from the children. At least that would be the most likely place from which they would come. To presume that they came from any other source would be far less reasonable. For many years, I have given the subject much consideration, but could not come to a satisfactory conclusion until I made the discovery of the law of mentalism. Now, all the mystery is removed and a logical explanation is easily made. Dreams usually occur during the hours of sleep, but not always. What we call sleep is simply the five senses passing into a state of unconsciousness. The faculty for thinking is usually quite active up to the time the five senses go to sleep, and it is doubtful if this faculty more than passes into partial unconsciousness. In this state, the sleeping person is as sensitive to mentalism, if not more, than when awake. During the sleep or unconsciousness of the five senses, the brain is given the best opportunity to receive thought messages, for there are no external conditions to distract the attention. The impressions that we call dreams are in no wise different from the messages received during the waking state. We know that concentration is an assistance in sending and receiving thought messages, and concentration is closely related to sleep, for it places the senses under subjection. The information we receive in dreams while partially asleep is often very complete, while at other times we receive but a few thoughts on one subject, and then a stronger thought wave from another source reaches and gives us information on some other subject. This mixing of pictures wherein things are left incomplete is confusing, and we are unable to see what reference they have to the affairs of our life. If we consider these dreams as though messages, we will find that they are in no wise different from the thoughts which come and go through the brain during waking hours. When they come in the daytime, little or no attention is attached to them, but because they come at night, people have placed them in a distinct class. Many of the thoughts received during the night escape us before we have been awake half an hour. This is due to the fact that they made but a faint impression and were of slight importance, or else they were dispatched by a weak will. Thoughts that make a deep impression and are clearly stamped upon the memory after waking should be given the same consideration as would be given to a message that came in the daytime. Thought waves travel during the night as well as the day. Therefore, they will impress the brain that is in harmony with them, be the time night or day. There is nothing strange about dreams when viewed from the standpoint of mentalism. The law that governs the day messages also govern the night messages, for they are one and the same. In my own experience, I have found that the most important information comes at night after retiring. The greater part usually comes before I go to sleep, and sometimes all of it. But often the message is continued after I have fallen asleep, and next morning I have the knowledge needed to complete my plans. I could not well call part of this a thought message and the remainder a dream, for they were but one and the same, and the information being continuous, it could have come only by the one means. One can readily see how the law of mentalism removes the mystery which dreams have been surrounded, and makes their import easily understood. Everyone should take note of the messages received while sleeping, but should be careful to what extent they allow these thoughts to influence their actions. No information can be secured from dreams that could not be gained through concentrating during the waking hours. Mind acts upon mind. Therefore, all we have to do is to learn to talk in thought, and all the intelligence that ever lived are with us, and we with them. H. H. Brown.